Okay, welcome everyone. It is 5:32 p.m. on Wednesday, May 14th, and this is a meeting of the Police Policy Committee of the Cleveland Community Police Commission. My name is Pete Van Leer, I'm the chair, and we want to welcome everybody and call this meeting to order. Roll call, Chandra Morera Benito.
Present.
Tara Coleman.
Present.
Adriana Rodriguez is absent. We're all people here. I want to read the statement here. The procedure for conducting public meetings. This meeting of the Cleveland Community Police Commission is a lawful meeting under section 605.04 of the codified ordinances. No person with purpose to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting shall do any act which obstructs or interferes with the due conduct of such meeting. Members of the public are invited to speak in accordance with the public comment rules on the agenda. Disruptions, including but not limited to speaking out of turn and/or making loud utterances that interfere with the due conduct of this lawful meeting, may constitute a misdemeanor and a violation of section 605.04. If this meeting is disrupted, I will call for a recess and the room will be cleared. Persons who violate the city ordinances and commit misdemeanors may be subject to prosecution. When this body is able to return from recess, then in compliance with the Ohio Open Meeting Act and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances, the meeting will be open to the public. Thank you for listening to that. Agenda review. It's pretty straightforward, I think, but if there are any questions, my goal is for each of us to walk out of here with a clear role in at least one of the GPOs that we've prioritized. So are there any questions? I have full business there. I don't think there is any, but if there's any, we can.
Oh, do you need a moment? Motion, sorry.
Do you have any?
Oh, business note.
Can we do that? Okay. I guess if you'd like to make a motion to accept the agenda, I don't know if we need to do that.
I move to accept the agenda. Approve the agenda.
I second that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Minutes from the last meeting. Jocelyn Sandusky sent minutes out a while back. I took a look. I didn't see any issues with it. Is there any other questions about the minutes?
No.
No questions.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, and move on. And the minutes are approved. So, all right. So now we're at the public comment section. Is there any public comment? We have to make.
Is there one? Thank you. Is that how you understand over here? Oh, gotcha.
Thank you.
Oh.
No. Just asking if there's any opposition.
Am I good? All right. Good evening, Commission. So today I saw in the news that Executive Director Jason Goodrick is departing from being on the Community Police Commission. I want to just remind for the public record that back in February, there was a complaint that was brought to the Community Police Commission at the start of February, and the rule said that that complaint needed to be followed by an initial analysis within 15 days that needed to be produced by the now departed Executive Director Jason Goodrick. That did not happen within 15 days. The commissioner that he was supposed to provide that initial analysis to, at the time, Accountability Committee Chair Terry Wong, was never provided it during her term. It was followed by several contentious months of trying to remove her from being chair of the Accountability Committee. It was only after she was removed that Goodrick moved forward with producing that initial analysis. In violation with the rules, that was delayed for what was supposed to be 15 days, delayed for 150 days or so. That complaint still hasn't been heard. It is now delayed due to the evidentiary hearing manual. And at the previous full commission meeting, I brought up my issue with the fact that there were 5 meetings where the drone policy was discussed, and there was never any time put towards the evidentiary hearing manual, which is needed to hear both that one complaint that you all have been sitting on for 14 months now, and also any other complaints that I may not know about that needs to be produced. And when I brought this up, the blame was deflected onto ex-Commissioner Terry Wong, saying that, and also that like you didn't have an accountability chair, you didn't have the ability to move forward. I want to correct for the record that the evidentiary hearing manual came out of the policy committee and was created by Pete Van Leer, who was also the person who spearheaded the drone policy. So again, I want to say that just to highlight the fact that this is a matter of prioritization. It's not a matter of not having the time, resources, etc., because all of the people who would be needed to move forward on the evidentiary hearing manual are moving forward on other things on the commission. I find this very objectionable because I think accountability is really the driving force that led to the creation of this commission. There still has not been a hearing for any complaint here, and I just want to remind the public of that. So thank you all for the time.
Thank you. I don't think there's any further public comments, so next thing on the agenda is old business. I don't believe we have anything on that, but I just want to make sure. It doesn't sound like anybody has anything to add there. So we will go right into the new business, which is the basic goal is to discuss and prioritize the GPO work that we had before us. Now that we have a commission in operation again, after a period of not having that, we can really get moving. So my goal, as I said before, is to have each of us, and one of our committee members is absent, but each of us really take on one aspect, at least one aspect of this. And I would say that I've been working with the surveillance tech work group over the past couple of years, and while we haven't met as a group, some of them have been active in responding, and we're working on looking how we can get a meeting going with that group. So that those issues, those GPOs that would be handled by that are the automatic license plate readers, the wearable and in-car camera systems, both of which we've already done a fair amount of work on them. And also FUSIS, which is still a divisional notice, but is a larger issue that we need to tackle as a committee and as the commission. Did you have something, Commissioner? I thought you were.
Oh, I have a question.
Go ahead.
What, where did this list come from?
So this list came from, our sense of the priority, like the GPOs that have come to us for review, as well as a priority list that we've created and looking at it, what our priorities are, as well as from the division. They've also created a priority list, which includes many of these. Automatic license plate readers, wearable and in-car camera systems are near the top of the list. Vehicle pursuit are on the priority list. Rescue restraint, transport and supervision, one that we've actually worked on already to some degree. Use of force reporting, I believe. Those are among the priorities.
Okay.
I have to look back at
And
that.
then, I'm newer, so I don't understand the
Yeah.
process, but when you said some of these came to us for review, they came to us from whom or what's
All
the
of them
process?
come from the division. We were sent them by the division, with the exception of FUSIS, which is not a GPO. It was a divisional notice.
And
that's something, but each
All
of
of
the
the
others
other ones have been
have come to us.
requested for, okay, got it. I think that's helpful.
So for some kind of context, so the charter gives the CPC final authority over police policy. Last January, a commissioner introduced a resolution saying that all CDP like GPOs must be approved by the CPC before they can. So before it was like we had final authority, and so we could say, hey, we're gonna we are saying we're looking at this and then we're gonna create a new policy and give it to them, but that wasn't really the process. We were still kind of in the process of developing the process, and so with that resolution that was made now, the process is they must send us the GPO before it's implemented, and then we have to approve it.
Okay,
So-
and these are just the ones in the queue essentially.
So yes,
Understood, thank you.
and that, but some of the challenge with that, and I think that there's some, there's some potential room for changing that process, because part of what happens then is we are then focusing on what the division wants us to focus on, right, what they're working on. And so in some ways, it kind of makes it so that they're setting our agenda. And it's also just a lot of work. There's a large volume of GPOs. So I think there is like a potential argument that could be made for changing the system a little bit. But right now, it's like we kind of prioritize the things that are the best interest.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I think that's what we've done, and there's a logic to it.
Yeah.
Because we do want to make sure, especially as we prioritize the issues that are important in terms of the consent decree and constitutional policing in general.
And then is there one other, so FUSIS is not in that category. Manual of rules, if that's are we referencing ours?
No.
No, okay, so what is that one?
Do you have more?
Yeah. The manual of rules is basically like the list of rules that the police must follow, and so it's kind of like a personnel.
So, but I thought though, we were discussing priorities for this committee.
So right
Oh,
now,
never mind, nope, that's a different thing. Okay, I'm good,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, thank you for asking the questions, because we want to bring up
Mixing
to
up,
speed.
responsibilities.
Yeah,
you're-
totally. It's good to keep those straight. But just for some more context, that resolution that we passed back, it was in January of 24. I mean, just not this last January, obviously.
Oh, correct, you're right, yeah.
We're now a year and a half almost
Yeah.
beyond that. And it came about because we came together, first in January of 2023, and then we just realized over the course of that period of time, that first year especially, that there were things happening without really
Yeah.
our consultation. So one example of that is ShopSpot. They passed a policy on that just on their own. Or I think they did not have a policy. We asked for it because the technology was in use, and they created a policy, and we eventually got it. And so we wanted to make sure they were sending us everything. But as Commissioner Benito said, it's a lot to take in, especially with the lack of staff and other volunteers.
And that resolution was indefinite,
Yes.
and then where can I find it, like, or documents housed somewhere?
Probably the minutes for that meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I would just go to the website.
I can
We could find.
see if I can try to find it.
Yeah, we could find it.
Excuse me,
Okay, that's
What was the
helpful.
resolution? So
excuse me, I'm interrupting and you can
so
have a police
there's a period for
We,
public comment.
I had to bring this, gentleman to.
So,
No, I'm
I'm
sorry.
calling this meeting
We
to
would like
order.
to, we would
I
like to.
am
public
calling this
comment.
meeting to order. This meeting's business is being disrupted. There is a public
Well, I'm
comment
so
period at the end.
sorry. I had to pick up this
So
person who
this
wants to
meeting's
speak,
business is being
and
disrupted.
you guys
Please,
are
I
already
call this
telling
meeting
lies
to order.
about it.
Please
Ms.
refrain
Coleman,
from
your
disrupting
licenses
this
will be
lawful
on the
meeting.
line
Speaking out of
very
turn interferes
Don't
with
keep
conduct of this
laughing
meeting.
about it because you lied on your application.
Okay, so, back to the conversation. What,
Can I ask a question?
there is a period, period at the beginning and at the end, so we'll have time at the end. We'll make term at the end.
Sir,
So please do not disrupt the meeting,
I'm just
sir.
trying to say
We're
something.
not
So, hold on, so we're gonna set so we're under new business, we're gonna set priorities, is that right? And then public comment,
Yes.
and then, okay. So what do we need to do, Chair, to set the priorities? So let's make sure we do accomplish what we came to accomplish today.
Yeah, so I think what we need to do, and as I've said, the areas that I can definitely work on are the tech issues, surveillance tech issues, automatic license plate readers, wearable and in-car camera systems, and FUSIS are at the top of my list. And that's work that's kind of been underway for a while. We've already done some work on those GPOs except for FUSIS. So that's areas that I'm definitely going to focus on. I think I would like us to also look at arrestee restraint, transport, and supervision, because we've done work on that already. And I don't think it's that far from completion, so I could probably take that on and take a look at that.
And are you wanting us each to kind of pick something from this list
That
or
would
what?
be ideal.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. So if we could all work out of here with at least one thing. I mean, if there's something, I mean, I know you may not have had a chance to review everything, but if you have questions about what different ones are that we haven't already talked about, or even if we have, please, I mean, vehicle pursuit. Commissioner Marrero Benito, you worked on
And you
that.
said you already. Okay, so what's left are,
I think in terms of priority, well, Commissioner Marrero Benito, are you interested in continuing to work on the vehicle pursuit?
Yeah, I can do that.
So other priorities, I would say, would be use of force reporting as a priority there.
okay, I can do that.
I mean, that, if we could just start dividing up the work in that way, I think it will get us going. I mean, the other ones, manual rules and performance evaluations, we'll need to take a look at that.
And that comes, performance evaluations comes to us, even though there's the separate committee.
It's
It's performance evaluations of, go ahead,
No,
of the, for the vision, right? So
Right.
they're, yeah, evaluating performance.
Commissioner Miller also volunteered to help if you need help.
Who is?
Commissioner Miller.
Oh, right,
So
okay,
she
yeah,
contacted, said if you need help. she
right.
would.
So we can also reach out to,
Now also, I'll be on this 10 minutes.
I had talked to Commissioner Pro-Chair Adams about window tint as well.
Okay, then I can do social media usage.
Yeah, we've already got some work done on that, I can forward that to you. And maybe we'll reach out to Commissioner Miller and look at some of these other things.
Okay, now, is there any other place to look for priority setting?
So I think that it's not necessarily that we're saying this is the priority, like of all the policies that we think the committee should work on, these are the policies, these are all the policies that are in the queue and we're prioritizing these. So I think it's, I guess I want to kind of clarify
No,
that.
that's helpful, thank you. Okay,
And I'm sending out the motion from, it was apparently December
okay, thank you.
2023. So I'm sending it out to everybody on the committee.
Then I would just ask for our next meeting, I think when we had priorities on the agenda, it was more of a global, like, vision for the committee and where we wanted to spend our time, I think. I think maybe that's still just a discussion to have, if we could put that on the next agenda. Yeah, because that makes sense, these are like a subset, this is a subset of the work in the queue and we're dividing it up, is that accurate? Okay, got it.
And we can certainly make sure, I mean, this is, I believe this is a fair, there are others on the queue, but not very many that we have, but we'll make sure we can pull that together. It's a little bit harder now with Director Goodrich gone, but I'm sure we can find that and share that and make sure that we all have that information. As new ones come in, we will also, I'll make sure that we get that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so. Okay.
Then do we need to go through all the other ones? I could also take manual rules and then also bring that to the accountability committee.
Okay.
Sorry, which one was that?
Manual rules.
And I'll talk to Commissioner Miller about, I mean, the two others, I think that, the three others that I think are ones we need to be looking at in the near future are duties of command and superior officers, use of force reporting. Well, he said you would do,
I've got use of force reporting, social media usage, and I thought they were all taken, so what's left?
well, there's performance evaluations and duties of command and superior officers. So we don't have to make a decision now. I think we can get started. You can take a look at them and we can have a discussion.
I also think vehicular pursuits is so big that I think it could be good to have two commissioners working on it.
Sure, and that's,
So if you have any interest in that, Tara.
that's also two, it's vehicle pursuits and police pursuit
So,
investigation.
I think that could be a good
So
thing.
that would be me and Pete on those,
Me and you.
me and you.
Two.
Okay, got it.
And then the
Okay,
other thing is, we have done some work already on the arresting, restraint, transport, and
Yes.
supervision. So,
Yeah, I mentioned it, yeah, I think that's why I think it'll be a little bit easier
Yeah.
to move that forward. Yeah. Some of the issues, for example, with the wearable and in-car camera systems, there's some use of force questions. So we had a presentation at a previous meeting from the division about that. So there's some questions there about how that interacts with other GPOs. So we need to do some work on that. And I know you and I work together on the arresting restraint, so I'll check in with you.
sounds good.
Okay. I mean, that might, I don't know if that's it, but. I think we're good. Okay. All right. Well, with that, we will, we're gonna go to, public comment, but we do have, this is moving more quickly than I thought, but it makes sense. We'll have public comment, and then I want to make sure everybody knows when the meetings are. It's this Wednesday, or the next, so we'll make sure that's clear. So, with that, we will move on to public comment. I'm not sure you have, thank you for your patience, or what? What? Commissioner, did you have something, Commissioner?
Can
Up to
we,
you,
can I
whether
do
you
it
want
after
to.
public comment?
We can pause for a second.
Sorry.
Why don't you go? We're gonna have one more, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry,
I'll get you in a second.
I think one thing that I don't know if it makes sense for us to talk about is with our staffing being down,
Mhm.
just kind of like how we want to, like what other resources might be available to us to try to work on this stuff. I mean, we have a lot of work and now not as much support available.
Yeah, I think one thing we should do is look at model policies from different, I have some, like there's PERF, the Police Executive Research
Yeah.
Forum has some.
Yeah.
There's folks out in, who I met at NACOL out in the Northwest, I think it was Seattle, I could look at my notes and share some of that. And Oakland, of course, we've used Oakland.
Also Seattle, Oakland, and Chicago are sometimes good
Chicago,
places to
yeah.
reach out to ask them for
But we can, yeah, that's a good,
copies of their
I
policies.
mean, that's one way we can look
Yeah.
for best practices, and best good models.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you much. Is this on? Okay,
I'm not sure.
I don't know if it's on.
Is it on?
It might have turned back on.
Okay, make sure it's on.
We have set time.
Here you go.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Before I start any comments, may I ask you all one thing? Can I have the names of who I'm talking to? Because if I don't know who I'm talking to, I don't know how to address my matters. So can I be introduced?
Sure, my name is Pete Van Leer.
Tara Coleman.
Okay,
John Adams.
John Adams.
Chandra Moreira Benito.
Okay. That's it?
That's all the commissioners.
Okay, thank you much. Okay, my name is James Lamb, I'm from the city of Cleveland, Ohio. I live in Ward 3. I've been in government longer than folks have been in politics. I was Carl Stokes photographer at 17 years of age. I was Lou Stokes photographer till he died. So I can tell you, I was Frank photographer until my eye went bad. So I can tell you, the city is something that I'm not strange with. And this board here was supposed to have been set up 14 years ago. 14 years ago, when DOJ came in here first. But it didn't. So I'm going to ask you all one question. Since I'm here for the first time, and since you all had never put anything out in the mail or anything of the nature for someone to come and hear what you're discussing. Can you please tell me how I get a copy of everything that you all have done since the day that you took a seat? Because I know I can go to Mark Griffin and get it all, but I want to go by protocol and not play into nobody else's hands and do this as proper as I know how. So today, I'm here to ask you, can I get a copy of what you all are doing? So see, what I'm hearing is you're fixing, see, I've been sitting around city council for 50 years, 50. So Mike Polensek was 37 years old when I started, so I can tell you. So I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you all, and you're discussing everything that you want. But guess what? The public's nowhere around. So guess what? When you put things into play, because of the fact that you're sitting in them seats and the public has no input, guess what you done? You shamed yourself. Because number one, if the public don't know what you're doing,
Yeah, your time is up, sir.
okay, if the public don't know what you're doing, then you don't know what you're doing. And that's real,
Okay, thank you,
okay?
sir.
And I would like the paper trail.
We can talk, you know.
No, we ain't gonna talk. If I can't get it from you, I'll get it from Mark Griffin.
We can
I'll
talk.
go get it first
Sir,
thing in the morning. I'll
Sir,
put it
your
in
time
the
is
morning.
up. We can talk after
I
and
don't
connect
play
you and
games.
get the information.
You ain't talking.
Is there any other public comment?
I asked for one thing.
Are
That's
we
all.
at the point at the end of new business for the second public comment?
I am asking for public comment, sir, yes.
Okay.
If you have public comment, please come.
I'm just trying to understand the point of the agenda we're in,
Okay,
so.
Ain't got no paperwork, ain't got no nothing. They just-
If I may, what I will say is I construe your comment as a request for a public record.
I'm gonna get them.
And to the extent you are making a request, the city will fulfill that request.
I know that.
A copy of all the CPC's work is overbroad, but I would invite you to
Sir,
review the
Sir.
CPC's website.
I'm
And
going
if you have any sort of specific
I
request,
will
we'd be
call
happy-
public records and
Thank you.
tell them to email me every bit of something that you have a signature on,
Mr. Maska.
and I can get it.
Letting him finish. Alright, thank you all.
I can get it.
So my understanding is at this point, we are done with new business and we're at the time for public comment. I want to address something that gentleman just brought up, which is about like the community outreach. I only started coming to these meetings because ex-Commissioner Wong brought to me her allegations of sexual harassment against Jason Goodrick, the recently departed executive director. So like, and I've been one of the most consistent people coming here, and I just want to say like that has been like the community outreach I've seen happen on this commission is like a serious allegation that was not addressed for a year. So I do want to just say that. And then also, so we are at the point in the agenda where new business was supposed to take like an hour and 25 minutes. We have a lot of time left over in this meeting, and I don't think you all should move to adjourn it. There has been the evidentiary hearing manual that has had comments from the DOJ that has been needed to address for quite a while now. You all have the comments. You all should be able to pull them up and discuss them publicly right now. And so I just strongly urge you all to make use of the time you have and not it's quite an egregious act to close this meeting when the policy committee is what created the evidentiary hearing manual. You all have the time to address it. I brought up my concern about prioritizing the drone policy before, but closing this meeting like an hour early when this is something that is pressing is, I really hope you all don't do that.
Well, tomorrow I'm gonna deal with it.
Is there any further public comment?
Tomorrow I'll deal with it.
I'm, I'm former Police Commissioner Terry Wong. I want to alert the public that there were 11 policies and GPOs being discussed in this meeting for prioritization. There has been no community input. And it was only because I pressed on the law department that any of these documents were released. I'm not sure if that is an OMA violation, but your attempts to obscure what you are actually doing and giving the public lack of access, because there's people that cannot come to these meetings because Mr. Van Leer chooses to schedule them at 5:30 rather than 6. Most of us have to, in the community, have to work. And I want to point out that there are inaccuracies in this meeting. The manual of rules was in the accountability committee under my purview. The work for the manual of rules has been completely done by the discipline work group. Now they're resetting the entire timescale so that they're going to ignore the work that was done by a community input of many people. These 6 community members participated in that with me and Commissioner James Chura. And now what I want to alert the public is what they are doing is that the discipline committee or the accountability committee's sole primary responsibility is the disciplinary hearing. And we have one disciplinary hearing, Mr. Antoine Tober and Sergeant Lance Henderson, that's never been heard because this commission is delaying that through the evidentiary hearing manual, which was also under the purview of accountability, but was stolen by Mr. Van Leer into the policy committee. So if you want responsibility for that, as everybody has said, then take the responsibility and finish that hearing process. I will be releasing the DOJ comments on the hearing process, and the community will see that these commissioners are completely unable and unqualified or unwilling to finish that draft after 2 years. They blocked my ability to submit a draft that I wrote in 4 hours, which I think is pretty good first draft, because they do not want to do discipline. And Ms. Medinito is smiling and everything because she's now in charge of the accountability committee, and she is going to instead work on the discipline matrix policy. So what is happening is that you're taking policies and you're dragging them over the accountability committee in an effort to stop the true work of the accountability committee, which is discipline. And the last thing that I want to mention is Mr. Van Leer was responsible for the inclusion of a provision that would allow the division to drone and target protesters. It was only because I alerted the community that that provision was removed. He is currently lying to the press, and the press is enabling him because they want to cover up what he has done. I am tired of babysitting Mr. Van Leer. He is unqualified, he is corrupt, and he needs to be removed from the commission right away. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any further public comment? Seeing none, I will make a motion that we formally adjourn this meeting.
So how long did the meeting?
Put it on the phone. Before there's a second for adjournment, I just wanted to make a comment. So my understanding of the evidentiary manual is that that is with the rules committee. And so I just wanted to
I want everything from the charter.
get clarification on that. The evidentiary
I want
rules,
Hearing manual.
hearing manual, evidentiary rules. Evidentiary hearing manual sits within the rules committee. Okay, so somebody clarify for me what.
So there was a meeting, where we're at with that is there was a meeting, in December with the DOJ, the monitoring team, the PAT, and members of the CPC to start to discuss comments. Those comments are now with our attorney. Our attorney is working on it. Our hope,
I'm gonna be good, Tommy.
I mean, obviously things have been turned a little upside down with 3 of our staff members
But
now
my
being
question
gone.
is it?
So
whose
who owns
responsibility
it? So I
is-
think that it originally come out of rules or was it?
I just
think
think
it
it
originally
was
came out of
committee
rules.
to-
It was initially drafted in rules.
My understanding it was accountability, but I think it might have been a joint committee
Oh, was it?
undertaking.
Rules and
Excuse me,
accountability.
undertaking by the rules and the accountability.
Okay,
committee.
that's all I want.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't, you were shaking your head no.
I
Okay,
got
that's all I
all
wanted
of it, yeah.
clarification on, so I just wanted to make sure it wasn't with this committee. I don't know, I wasn't here when all of that happened.
Honestly, I was on rules, accountability, and policy, so I sometimes got the things confused, so that's my bad, you're right.
And then,
No, I'm sorry. The way that it's been drafted is I believe that it goes through the accountability committee. And any process that
I think
flows
we need a
from.
complaint. They're asking about who will be responsible for finishing the hearing.
Right, right. So,
It's gonna go through accountability, but eventually it has to be passed through the rules, because there are rules that have to be added to our operations.
okay,
So
that's
they're actually like
Yeah.
rules, but because of how the content of them dealing with the discipline aspect, it's gonna be flushed out through accountability. But ultimately, that has to go to the rules committee, because there are rules that need to be added to our manual. That's why last year, when they were actually working on it, they were having joint meetings with rules and accountability, so that they
Thank
could
you.
get
That's all I
started.
wanted to confirm.
But ultimately, that's the process.
That's all I wanted to confirm, thank you. So I think there's a pending motion.
Yeah, well, yeah, unless there's other business we need to discuss. Good question, so I would clarify that. But yes, I'll restate the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you, and the meeting is adjourned.